Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy CowboyJobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just doesn't work. Now, I gotta tell you, it's Friday afternoon. Thank God it is finally the weekend, man. I have been going crazy trying to get everything together and stuff, and I am looking forward to actually sleeping late tomorrow morning, although I do have to do some work this weekend on Sunday, but hey, I'm just happy to have a job. Now, guys, it's kind of funny to me because I keep hearing about our salary cap situation. Now, I said probably a month or so ago, basically, we have about $18 million going into the off season. And somebody said, "You're an idiot. You just keep talking just to be talking. You don't know what you're talking about." And we only have $9 million. Well, I was wrong. It's actually, we have $19.1 million currently with the cap. Now, I know that doesn't sound like much, but when you go back to say last year or the year before that, we've generally been about 20 plus $1 million over the cap going into the offseason. We've had to literally cut guys or rework contracts just to get back to even. Now, we have some things we need to do. If we cannot work out a long-term deal with DeMarcus Lawrence, we're going to have to franchise tag, which will take literally 15 million of that. If we decide to go ahead and give the tender to David Irving, that's going to take probably another 3 million of it. So all of a sudden, just getting those two guys taken care of takes your cap room. So that doesn't sound good. Now, here's the interesting thing is because the cap has never really been an issue for the Cowboys because there's always ways around the cap. We can easily get, and they've already been talking about redoing Travis Frederick's contract. Basically, they set up the contract so they can get money back off of it. And what it is, and this is a misnomer by a lot of people. Like when they say that, oh, a player gave money back because he cares about the team. That's actually not how it works. What they do is, it's just a numbers game. Hypothetically, let's say you've got a contract that has $20 million guaranteed, and let's say it's a $50 million deal, and it's for 5 years. So technically, that means you're getting paid an average of $10 million per year. Okay? The guaranteed money, that $20 million, of course, you're definitely going to get. The rest of it is, well, if you play the length of the contract. But they take that $20 million and they spread it out over the life of the contract. So that $20 million is $4 million a year. Plus then whatever they decide to pay you for each year on the contract. If they say, okay, we're going to give you an extra $10 million as guaranteed money. We write you a check for this right now. Here you go. And they divide that $10 million over the course of the contract. So the contract number doesn't change, the final number. The money that you're guaranteed does, but the money is then spread out. So when you take somebody, say like Travis Frederick, let's say his contract is paying him $10 million a year this year, you go ahead and pay him $9 million. You divide that by however many years are left on the contract, and that amount of money is what the charge is for this season. So the Cowboys can easily, just by writing a check to Travis Frederick, grab $7.5 million. Great. Why don't we do that more often? Because what happens is eventually the bills come due. The reason we're still paying Tony Romo $9 million this year is because they used Tony Romo's contract like a piggy bank. They kept kicking it down the road. Well, we paid $10 million of it last year, even though he wasn't on the team. That's dead money. And $9 million this year. That's dead money. And when you look at Tyron Smith, they have done that several times. And now we're at the point where his cap number for next year is $17.5 million. So yes, you can get money by redoing those contracts. But sooner or later, the bills are going to come due. And sometimes it gets to be painful when it happens. It happened with DeMarcus Ware's contract. He got into the $16 million range because they kept restructuring it. Dez Bryant contract is up there because they've restructured as well as paying him a whole lot of money. So with that $19 million, we could easily restructure some contracts to get some more. And if they still continue to want to get more money, they can make a few cuts that will save them money as well. I've talked about it before. Most of the experts out there will say, well, if you cut Dez Bryant, you're only going to get $8.5 million. Yes, if you cut him immediately. But if it's a June 1st cut, which is key, if it's after that or designated a June 1st cut, you actually save $12.5 million. If you do the same thing with Tyrone Crawford, you save about $9 million. If you do the same thing with Orlando Skater, you save about $4 million. So there's money out there for the Cowboys to do what they want to do. But the question is, who do you want to keep? Who of these guys are more valuable than others? Do you look at it and say Dez Bryant is worth $16.5 million? Or do we look at it and say we can take $12 million and sign a long-term deal for DeMarcus Lawrence and maybe bring in a free agent? Those are questions that the general manager has to make. We'll have to wait and see what they do on it. Now, on the flip side of this, and I'll go into this more later on, but the Philadelphia Eagles, and by the way, we basically have the 10th least amount of money to spend in free agency at the moment. The Philadelphia Eagles, on the other hand, well, they're where the Dallas Cowboys usually are at this time of the year. They're $9 million over the cap. Yeah, and I'll be talking about the Eagles a little bit later and the chink in the armor because it's not easy to repeat as Super Bowl champions unless you're the New England Patriots. In fact, it's damn hard just to make the playoffs back-to-back. And I'm going to give you some of the reasons for you Eagle fans to start worrying about next year. I know you guys feel that now that you finally got one, you're going to get one every year. But I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be the case. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu here with a little capology for you. And I'll see you guys later. 2nd and goal from the 2 guys with the Dallas Cowboys down by 3 points. And Alfred Morris with the touchdown! And Redskin fans are cheering Alfred Morris.